This is our town, the place we call home.
Welcome to This Is Our Town with Jeff Yorkie, a local public affairs presentation on MonroeCountyRadio.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of This Is Our Town. And in our town today is the low payment king himself and the sponsor of This Is Our Town, Ralph Mahalak Jr. Ralph, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Hey, man.
And I want to congratulate Monroe County Radio and all the things you guys are doing. You guys are really doing a great job on social media and doing some and exposing people to a lot of things on your shows here that are, that maybe aren't getting coverage at a lot of the big stations in Detroit and Toledo and things like that. And you're bringing a lot of things to light. So good job on that whole deal. Seriously.
Well,
great job.
And we appreciate it. We do, that's one of the reasons for this show is to let people know what's all going on around here.
Yeah.
And it is one of the things that's kind of missing in radio, isn't it? With all the corporate ownership of radio stations all over the country, right?
Everything's
you get
going
this
corporate.
vanilla, right? You get this kind of vanilla flavor to radio.
Yeah.
And here we try to keep it local and keep guys like you who do so much for the community. We keep you in the spotlight as best we can.
Yeah.
And that's
I think it's very important because I'll be honest with you, with the Amazons of the world, small business is under attack, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that means a lot of jobs in a lot of small communities across the country. When you start losing small business, like the grocery store congloing up here on Monroe Street,
right,
after 23 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, I was just talking to Danny Vuich and congratulating him and Karen and their family on being able to stay in business as a small grocery store owner, for example.
Yeah, how hard is that nowadays?
In this day and age, it's not easy.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy at all.
You got to have a niche. You got to have this. You got to have that. You guys,
you got to be special.
Right.
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
You guys have done a phenomenal job of that, and you've been around since '66, right?
66.
And you know why I know that? That's the year I was born. That's how long you guys have been around. Now, obviously, it wasn't you. You started out with your dad, right?
66, you were born, the Super Bowl was born, and the Monroe Dodge Superstore was born.
That's right.
In the Super Bowl. So
exactly.
It's a great year.
And hey, the Packers won, and I'm a cheesehead. And a lot of people, if people listen to our town, this is my adopted hometown, but that's where I'm originally from. But yeah, it's a great year, 1966.
Absolutely.
So what is your guys' secret? And I think I know. I mean, a lot of it is what you guys give back to the community, because that is one of the things. I mean, heck, if you Google Monroe Superstore, you're going to see just as much stuff about all the things that you give back to the community as the product that you put out there for the community to buy. Right.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm very proud of our 5-star team. A lot of our team members sit on a lot of boards and committees and get involved in charity events. In fact, we have our 18 Aces to Conquer Cancer charity, 7th annual 18 Aces to Conquer Cancer charity golf tournaments going on this week down at one of our Florida stores. We rotate that deal around between our Florida stores, our Ohio store, and we've hosted it here a couple times at the Monroe Golf and Country Club. We've raised a lot of money for that for pancreatic cancer. We just made big donations to St. Jude's for children's research. Trying to save a lot of kids. But again, we couldn't do this unless we obviously made some money along the way, and we did that really on the backs of our great team members. We have so many long-term 5-star team members that have been with our organization for so long, and tons of great loyal customers. I mean, we have a great crop of customers. They're just wonderful people. Well,
thank you. Because I'm one of them.
There you go. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I one of the most amazing. You talk about small town and amazing things. The last 2 days of January, guys, you all know what it was like. It was 25 below wind chill.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, we were looking really death in the face at our store. With we needed to sell a whole bunch of cars, 30 some cars the last couple days of the month, and said, how are we going to do it? Well, we went outside and did a Facebook Live, and I'm not saying that's what did it, but we went outside, did a 2 or 3 minute Facebook Live, pulled a bunch of cars up and talked about the deals and said, come on out here. It's not the end of the world here.
Right.
It is 25
cold.
below wind chill, ice on the roads. And you know what? People showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, our customers showed up. I couldn't believe it. I hugged every one of them that came in. I gave them a warm hug, right? And my gosh, we delivered over 30 cars the last 2 days of the month and pulled out our January, which was absolutely unbelievable. And then my team pulled it out again in February. I mean, with some brutal weather conditions, but our customers came out in February again. Despite
you do
the weather
it because,
conditions.
as a customer, I'm going to tell you do it because my wife and I had a phenomenal experience. You know, we got a Jeep Wrangler from you guys. My wife, her dream car, right?
Yeah.
Always wanted that Jeep Wrangler. You know what? You know what is cool about it? When your sales staff, you know that, I mean, they get it. You know, they get what it is that you're looking for. They take the time to learn, you know, about us individually, and it really pays off. And it's a good experience when you walk out of there with that brand new car. You not just feel good about the vehicle itself. You feel good about the relationship that you built with your sales staff.
And we love Wranglers. I mean, Wranglers are really easy to sell, right?
Sure,
that's
yeah.
really easy to sell, and
it's like a cult.
It's a
cult.
cult.
Those
Right?
Wrangler
Yeah,
guys,
right.
yeah.
And with our 18 obstacle Jeep off-road course, that's a huge advantage that we have.
Yeah.
But you know, you talk about the things that we try and do different, unique and different. That's one of the things. I built that 18 obstacle Jeep off-road course 20 years ago. And there's
a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and there's nobody in
Seriously.
Detroit or Toledo that has that.
Right.
So, you know, you can come to Monroe and experience our store, you know. But we know to have people drive here, and we have people driving here from all over. I mean, we just delivered a guy drove here to pick up a Jeep Wrangler from us last Saturday morning. Drove here from just south of New Jersey.
I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He and his brother drove 8 or 9 hours, wherever it was. Stayed in a hotel Friday night. Got up first thing Saturday. Came in, bought the Jeep Wrangler, and boom, drove it home. Didn't even trade in a car, so they had to drive 2 cars home. So it was just, but we got them driving in from Grand Rapids, Cleveland, Columbus, Kalamazoo. It's really been phenomenal. But we've really gone to a very, very aggressive pricing strategy on all of our new and used cars. Transparency is big time for us as well. With you know, especially when you're buying a used car. We show everybody the Carfax vehicle history report.
Yep.
It's right on our website. It's right at our store. You can see it at our store. All the reconditioning we invested into the car. So we really believe in that model of transparency, and I think that's what you have to have today in today's industry.
So Ralph, how did you get involved in the business? I mean, it's a family business. It's been around since you were a little kid, right?
Yeah.
And it was your dad, right, that started it out?
Blizzard of '78. I had to crawl underneath. My brother and I had to crawl underneath all the rear wheel drive cars we had in the lot.
Yeah.
Hook the chains up to the axles and yank them out with 4x4 plow trucks, right? Because those rear-wheel drive vehicles didn't move in the snow.
No.
And when we got 2 feet of snow in the blizzard of '78, I'll never forget it. And then the Lee Iacocca loan guarantee came in 1979.
Yeah.
With the government-backed loans, which really helped save Chrysler Corporation and obviously saved Monroe Dodge at the same time. So, you know, all those were big deals. But I've loved the business ever since I started sweeping the floors and taking out the garbage when I was a teenager. And you know, work to try and be the best that I can be, and I'm still working hard to improve every day and with all my skills so that we can deliver the best customer experience for all of our sales and service customers when they come to our store. The other unique thing we did a couple of years ago, we put that zero gravity massage chair in our customer lounge. I mean,
that helps.
People love it. I mean, you know, you come in for an oil change, you know,
right?
Sit back in that zero gravity massage chair, close your eyes, and next thing you know, your oil change is done, and you're rolling back out the road. So it's that's another cool thing that we did that makes us unique and different. Again, we're just trying to do everything we can to satisfy our customers, and again, we want to be a big part of the community. And you know, and I'm a big believer, and I've said this. Michelle knows I've said this for years, especially in 2009, 2010, and 2011 when this community got rocked, like so many communities got rocked. You know, and really, you know, there was no pride in the community at that time.
Right.
I mean, everybody's houses were worth nothing.
Right.
You know, unemployment was through the roof, and it was just ugly, right? During 2000, you know, during the financial crisis.
How'd you guys get through that? What kind of unique methods did you have to, pull out in order to?
Thank you for asking that question. This is exactly what we did. We went from a store that was leasing over 100 cars a month, right? And then when the banks, you
couldn't lease a car.
You couldn't lease a car because the banks shut off basically loans and leases.
Yep.
There's no such thing as leasing a car anymore, which was really ridiculous because it wasn't the car loans that created the financial crisis. It was the home loans. The
home loans, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So, but because they got a pneumonia, we had to catch a cold.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
So, anyway, once they quit leasing, we immediately pivoted overnight, loaded up our used car lot with more used cars, and started retailing the most used cars we'd ever sold ever.
Makes
right?
a lot of sense. Yeah.
And because people had to basically buy. You couldn't come back in and lease a car for $250 a month like you've been doing.
Right.
So you had to basically buy a car for $250 a month.
Yeah.
We just lined up a bunch of cars that were $200 a month, $250 a month,
right.
$280 a month, $300 a month, and people bought them in bunches. And the other thing, what we did was I told our entire team, we're not laying anybody off because why would I perpetuate the problem and make it worse?
Yeah.
When we're trying to put America back to work at the time. During those times of the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Why would I make it worse by laying you off? That only makes everything bad. And then I know this thing is going to recover because I've been through it. I mean, I went through it with my dad in 1979. Mm-hmm. So then I got to go back and rehire people and all those things. We didn't lay anybody off. Obviously, nobody quit because you know where to go to get a job, right? So our team, a year after the financial crisis hit, our team had only changed by one person. We had one young lady retire, elderly lady retire.
Really?
And we replaced her. And that was so our team count never changed. I told everybody you got to come together. If you're a tech in the shop, you better help us sell cars. And if you're a salesman, if you can't sell the guy a car, you better have him take his trade and right back to the shop and get new tires and new brakes put on it because he probably needs it, right?
Yeah.
So everybody came together as a team, and it was really an unbelievable thing to experience. I got to tell you, I'm really proud of our team, and that's why when we came out of that financial crisis into the recovery, we had all the people and players in place ready to go. I mean, we didn't have to go out and rehire people. Because we never laid anybody off.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that was there were a lot of bold moves in there. And the other thing was during that whole time, we always did crazy promotions. I think one of the things that
really, you did a crazy promotion? Get out of here.
I mean, I still think April of 2009, we gave away Lazy Boy chairs with every vehicle sold, which isn't unusual. But in addition to that, we gave away 100 shares of Lazy Boy stock. And let me tell you something, that's hardly ever happened anywhere in the history of the car business. We gave you a Lazy Boy chair and 100 shares of Lazy Boy stock, and I told everybody, now if you go and get all your friends to go out and buy 100 shares of Lazy Boy stock and a Lazy Boy chair, you know how the stock would go on a rocket ship ride,
right?
And guess what it did, right? It did for a lot of reasons, not just. But think of it, if everybody did that,
right,
it would go on a rocket ship ride. The stock was $1.60 a share. Now that stock's worth $3,000 or $4,000 that I gave away, right?
Man.
So I tell my salesman, call your customer back, tell them to trade in their 100 shares of stock that I gave them, 10 years ago as a great down payment for a new car.
New car, right?
But we did a lot of those things. We tried to, we gave away Monroe shock absorbers, gift certificates. We did everything we could to help all the other the businesses in our community.
Right? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. A business like yours, the reason that you've been in business for as long as you have, you give back with all the charity work that you do, and that's all fantastic, and it's great. But it is those times, those hard times, when it's like people, individuals have character. Businesses too, they have character as well, and that's kind of and that comes from the leadership from guys like you, Ralph. That you did the right thing there. You got to bite the bullet. You got to tighten the belt and everything else. But you did it in a way that you were able to keep the community intact, and that's a hard thing to do.
Well, we put the signs up around our store, and you can still see them. There's still a few of these posters running around our store that says millions of Americans count on us to keep America working. Mm-hmm. And that was the attitude we had at the time. And it's really the attitude we still have today. And now look at it. Now look where we are now 10 years later from where we were then. And I was telling everybody we got millions of Americans count us, keep America working. And now look where we are now.
Yeah.
Jeep just announced they're adding 6,500 new jobs and $5 billion in investment here in Southeast Michigan.
Yeah.
10 years later, how about that? Right? And we're building Jeeps and Jeep Gladiator pickup trucks in Toledo like crazy, right?
Yeah. By the way, those are really cool.
Those are really cool.
Have you driven one yet?
I haven't driven a Gladiator yet. I've sat in a couple of them.
You got a couple in stock, don't you?
They're going to be they're coming in April.
Oh,
in fact,
okay.
You can order. In fact, you can custom order your first one. Come see me April 8th, Monday, April 8th, and you can be one of the first kids in the block to get the new toy. The new Jeep Gladiator pickup truck. We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
We have a few guys that are going to be in my showroom very early on Monday, April 8th.
Yeah. You won't even have time to put that up on the big hill because somebody will buy it before they have a chance to do that. Yeah.
Just clean them up for delivery.
I got to ask you, Ralph, because I'm a car nut. I love cars. Cars are cool to me. I love fast cars. I love cars that you can take up big hills and in places where cars shouldn't be. Did you grow up that way? Because, you grew up kind of in the 70s, right? In the 70s, kind of a crappy time for like muscle cars and stuff like that. Everybody went to because of the oil shortage and everything else. We had all the little 4-cylinder cars, right? And it was kind of a dead time for muscle cars, for SUVs and pickup trucks and all that stuff. And that was, I'm guessing, we're comparable in age. You grew up in probably the 70s. I grew up in the 70s, 80s. And it was a crappy time for cars. It really was.
The 70s started with 4,400-pound bombs driving down the road. Right. Big old boats, right?
Yeah.
And it ended with 1,400 pounds.
I know.
1.1 liter.
I know.
3-cylinder engines.
Right. Guys like us, we couldn't even fit in them things now.
So the 70s were weird. The 60s were kind of rocked.
Right, exactly.
The 70s were horrible. You're right, were horrible.
In the 80s, they started to make a little bit of a comeback. And by the early 2000s, muscle cars and SUVs, it was like the perfect time. It was a great.
It was great to see all the horsepower back and the attitude back. And obviously nothing accentuates that better than the Dodge brand, I think, with our...
Oh, the Challengers and the Chargers.
Right.
Oh, man. Those Hellcat. How many Hellcat? Have you ever driven one of them Hellcats?
Oh, yeah.
The one with the 700 horsepower?
707 horsepower, buddy.
You've driven one of them things?
Yeah, it's a blast.
It's a blast.
Heck, I drove my 505...
Can I come over and take a test drive?
I drove my 505 horsepower Durango to lunch yesterday up in Troy, and the valet guy gets in it just to move it just a few feet, and he burns the tires.
I believe it.
He jumps out of the car and apologizing. And I'm laughing. I'm almost on the ground laughing because he didn't realize that the power that was behind it. He just hit the gas.
Isn't that crazy?
And he only moved it about 50 feet. But we had so much fun with him yesterday. It was hilarious.
I know.
I love the power. I love the power.
Me too. And it always cracks me up because people talk about, it's internal combustion engine. It's the same darn thing that we've had for 100 years, but they have done so much with it. Those same cars, a 300 cubic inch engine back in the 60s got 180 horsepower.
Right.
Now that same size engine is getting 500 horsepower.
Right. Yeah.
It's just crazy what they've been able to accomplish, the efficiency in these motors, and we get to take advantage of it, and it's awesome.
And the other cool thing is a lot of those motors are built right here in Monroe County. The Dundee engine plant does a great job of building some beautiful fuel efficient engines. And the Trenton engine plant builds our beautiful Pentastar V6 engine, which is a fantastic motor that we're putting in lots of our vehicles, trucks, SUVs, minivans, etc. It's fuel efficient. It's powerful.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. When my wife and I, our experience buying a Wrangler from you guys, one of your salesmen, I can't remember his name. I wish I could. He owned a Wrangler. His wife owned a Wrangler. They were they were freaks like us. They were part of the cult. They dug this stuff. It's cool, and you could feel it.
Yeah,
and that enthusiasm is so much fun.
Yeah,
and that's what I couldn't wait for you to come on today, because I couldn't wait to talk to you about that stuff, because I just think that is that's what makes your industry so much fun. Being able to sell these things, you gotta love it.
Listen, I love, except when I have to be behind my desk, crunching numbers and ordering cars and reviewing Google Analytics and stuff. That stuff is a grind.
You gotta do it.
If I can get out on the showroom floor and talk to customers and talk about vehicles, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm a great guy out there, but when I have to grind through the numbers behind my desk, that gets pretty boring and depressing sometimes.
Of course, right.
But
it is
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But man, I have so much more fun talking cars and talking to customers and taking pictures with customers, taking delivery of their cars and doing Facebook Live things and doing fun interviews like this with you.
Yeah. Well, good. And Ralph, I'm so glad you came on. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we've got for today's show. But you come on again, right?
I
hope so, because we'll just keep talking cars. I could do that for 2 hours. we could do that all day long. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. But the stuff that you guys do for the community, I want to thank you so much for sponsoring the show, and I want to thank you for all the things that you do for Monroe County, and it is fantastic, and you can't say enough good things about not just what you do, but also all the guys, your 5-star sales team, and everybody else that you got working over there.
And I also want to thank all the guys and gals that when I pick up the phone and when I need money for Heart of the Badge, our Heart of the Badge program, we've now given away 3 or 4 scholarships now to send young people to become law enforcement officers in our community. When I pick up the phone and call my friends and business associates, and I want to thank all those guys and gals too, because when I pick up the phone and ask, the 99% of the time the answer is yes, and I appreciate everybody pitching and helping out, because it takes a village, right? It takes a village to accomplish all these things. You can't do them all on your own, and I want to thank all my friends, all our customers, again, all our 5-star team members, and Monroe, and all of my friends at Monroe County Radio here.
Oh, thank you
for
very
everything
much.
you guys are doing. Keep up the good work.
Hey,
It's
you
great.
got it. You got
Great being on your shows.
Thanks
today.
for being on
Thank
the
you,
show.
guys.
That is all the time we have. Ralph Mahalak Jr. from the Low Payment King. I want to thank him for being on the show. That's all the time we have. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Join us every Sunday at noon and Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another edition of This Is Our Town with Jeff Yorkie, a local public affairs presentation of MonroeCountyRadio.com.
This is our town, the place we call home.